So we're on to chapter 3 now, which is called What Do You Need? And in this chapter, we are literally looking at human essential needs. Okay, so these are the needs that human beings must have met in order to not just survive, but also to thrive in life. And as you will have seen from the little bit of information that's in your booklet, we know from research that human beings have to have these needs met in order to be resilient, to be calm, to be free of stress, free of anxiety. It stops us feeling getting really low and down in the dumps. What we know on the converse of that is that when people don't have these needs met, that's when they start to experience some of the challenges that we face in life around those emotional challenges, like I've already mentioned, the anxiety, the depression, but also we find it very, very difficult to achieve the things that we want to achieve in life. It's almost like you feel like there's something either pulling you back or something sort of blocking your path in front of you. I often say, it's like, we feel very stuck. Yeah. And there have been a number of times in my life when I felt like stuck in a real rut, and I tried doing lots of different things, and sometimes I'm somebody who can sometimes overlook these types of slightly deeper beneath the surface things by making myself very, very busy. And that was my experience in the past. It's like, well, if I just do more, if I just do things quicker, if I just do things faster, if I do this thing here and this thing there, and it can get all very scattered. But ultimately, things start to improve for me when I go back to these really fundamental, okay, let me just look at my life as a whole, because whilst I'm, spending 7 days a week, 18 hours a day working on random things and thinking that's going to fix my challenges that I'm facing, there are actually, because of that, a whole range of needs that I'm not getting met. Okay, and so I want you to come at this exercise with an open mind. It might be, I'm aware that people have come to this, have downloaded this booklet because they want to set a vision, or they have set a vision and they want some help to sort of move through that. And it may be that you've come upon this bit and you've thought, well, hold on a minute, particularly if you're maybe setting a business vision and you're thinking, well, hold on a minute, I'm setting a vision for my business. I want to crack on and do my business plan. What do I need to know about essential needs for? And you might feel the same if you're setting a life goal. You might have decided that you want to lose some weight, or get fitter and healthier, or something like that. You might think, well, why do I need to understand about my essential needs to do that? But I will sort of go a little bit further and explain to you why this is important. And I'll use examples from my experience of working with people. Now, I have, over the years, worked with a lot of people who have come to me because they want to set up a small business. And, they will say, well, I don't know, I keep trying this thing and it keeps going wrong and I don't know what to do. And, I'm just really stuck with this. And what will often happen ultimately is that when we start to dig a little bit beneath the surface, we will discover that there is something that they can't quite put their finger on that's stopping them from making the progress that they need. And this is why I will then nearly always start the work with somebody by doing what we call an essential needs appraisal. And that exercise is in your book on the following pages. And it's a really quick and easy thing where you will start off, you will see all of the needs in a little pie. And the needs are actually split up into 5 what we call domains. And these cover your physical, your emotional, your mental, your social, and your spiritual life, okay? And as you will see, that's pretty much every element of your life that forms the whole of it, okay? So within each of those 5 domains, there are 3 needs. And in the booklet, on the following pages, you will see a tiny, tiny summary about each of those needs. I don't have the space right here to go into great detail about all of those needs individually, but if you get stuck, if you were to come and work with me, that's the sort of thing that we would do. We would dive a little bit deeper and we would find where there's perhaps a little bit of imbalance in your life. So again, as I said earlier, I want you to approach this exercise with an open mind, because quite often, whilst we're kind of grappling with problems and we're feeling very, very stressed and anxious, we sometimes miss some of those things, as I say, just that are just a little bit below the surface, that if we took a bit of time to notice those and become aware of those and perhaps try to resolve some of them, then a lot of that stress would be lifted and we would find ourselves able to move forwards much more effectively and efficiently on any of those goals, whether that's a life vision, whether it's a business vision. And, you know, I'll just take an example, excuse me. If we look at some of the needs that are related to connection. So in the physical domain, there's a need called community connection, which is about feeling part of a wider community, whether that's a circle of friends or perhaps it's a group that you go to. Some people like to go to church. Maybe you're part of the pub quiz or something like that. But that's what, an example of being part of a wider community or achieving that balance within the community connection need looks like. Also, there's another need in the emotional section, which is called attention and intimacy. And this is about being able to give and receive attention in relationship with somebody or with some people. And the intimacy need is about having at least one other person with whom you can be completely yourself, you feel completely unjudged. You know, it's that person that you can sit with and you can say absolutely anything. And they know who you are, they understand who you are, you have a jolly good laugh, and, you know, everything's really cool and you can feel totally relaxed with them. We need at least one of those people in our lives. So I've just picked those two needs because if, for example, you are somebody who, you're feeling really, really stressed out and you're saying to yourself, well, I'm spending 80 hours a week working on my business and I'm doing all this stuff and I don't know I'm so stressed out. I can't seem to make progress going forwards and I'm not achieving my goals. Then if you were to look at those needs and then think to yourself, okay, well, actually, I'm not spending any time with my family. I've stopped going to the pub. I don't see any friends. I've left the, Women's Institute group or whatever it is, or the golfing group that I belong to. I don't have the opportunity to give and receive attention because I'm constantly sitting in my office or my shop or wherever, or in my gym or wherever it is that you work, trying to get all these things done, and I just feel like I'm doing and nothing's going forward, a bit like, a duck paddling under the water very, very fast, but you're not traveling very fast at all. So the point is that if you were to kind of stop and look at those and say, well, hold on a minute, that's two needs I'm not getting met. I'm not spending time with my best friend, which would give you the attention and intimacy, and I'm not going to the pub quiz anymore, which will give you your community connection. Just having those two needs unmet means that you're doing or not doing something that humans as social animals absolutely have to have in their life. And that's having that connection with another human being or other human beings on a regular basis. All right. So quite quickly, you could do something to resolve that. You could say, okay, this 80 hours a week working isn't actually moving me forwards quickly anyway. So maybe I am going to go to the open mic for 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon. Actually, maybe I am going to meet up with my best friend for coffee on Wednesday evening for a couple of hours, or a pint at the pub for a couple of hours. Do you see what I mean? So whilst at first glance you might think, well, what's my essential needs got to do with me setting a vision for my life or my business? Just looking at some of those areas with an open mind and thinking, well, hold on a minute, I'm not quite right. I'm not feeling quite right. And that's where it often starts. Maybe there is something in this. Maybe there is something for me in this. And of course, when we get to some of the other needs that are related to meaning and purpose, for example, or what we call stretch, which is about having something that kind of pulls you out of your comfort zone, that when you achieve it gives you a sense of achievement, something that kind of pulls you forward, and it fosters growth. Okay, those things could be directly related to your vision, because quite often when we set a vision, particularly if it's a work related or a business vision, or even, you know, a personal life vision that you want to perhaps be of help to a charitable cause or something like that, might be part of your life, you know, working as a volunteer or something like that, which also fulfills the service need. Okay, see where we're going with this. You will find that in actual fact, you know, some of these things are inherently linked to your vision, because if you have meaning and purpose, ultimately that's probably going to be at the core of what your vision is going to give you in life. All right, so some of these things will be directly related. So bear with the exercise, have a look, and as I've, you know, mentioned before, you can take it or leave it. All right, it might be part of the exercise that you find really useful in the end, or you think, I don't know what that was about. But either way, have a look, and I'm more than happy to receive questions from you. You can drop me an email, or you can communicate with me within the Purposeful Living community, and there's a link for that in there as well. So go ahead, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.